We're gonna talk about lamba. Okay, lamba is a traditional rhythm from West Africa. All right, and it's from the Malinke, the Mandinka. You will hear these people. That's an interchangeable terms. You hear Malinke, Mandinka, Mandingo. They became referred to in as America, in America. But all of those are talking about the same people. So we're talking about this region, okay, that used to encompass, we're talking about Guinea, okay, Senegal, all of these areas right in West Africa, the Ivory Coast, okay, Cote d'Ivoire, all these areas. So I will play some of the basic rhythms, and these are traditionally played on different types of drums, okay? So there are a lot of different drums in the world, remember that. But the rhythm is lamba, okay? Lamba.
So in terms of the calypso, the instruments that was used that was popular back in 18th century was the balafon. They used the balafon, which is similar to the piano or vibes or marimba, and also the guitar was very prominent. The high guitar was very prominent, and you hear that in a lot of reggae music, West Indian music, as it would call, as well as West Africa. And from there, we also get the lamba beat. The lamba beat was all these beats influenced one another. The lamba beat is like a shuffle, jazz wise, and we use that in big band and dance music and parties and playing big social events. This music is really influenced by and supported by colonialism from all the areas of Africa. This industry uh, hired musicians to play for these different events, and they created a competition between the bands and whatnot. Uh, the best bands came out of Dakar, uh, Luanda, Angola, Kinshasa, Congo. You know, they had the major, major competitions and bands, and it was it supported the economy. These musicians was able to make money, and that was really great for the development of this. Now, jazz wise, we actually deal with these beats because they sell the music. You know, when you have a strong beat, uh, uh, consciously or subconsciously, musicians pick a rhythm for their melodies and whatnot, and the beat actually carries the melody and makes it accessible to the world. Everybody likes uh, these dance rhythms that was like incorporated in these jazz tunes, these jazz melodies, whatnot. So that's the we have a example of the lamba beat which emerged into the shuffle. Check it out. One, two, three.
This next rhythm is called Samba, okay? So, a few components to Samba. It's one of the most popular rhythms and one of the most festive rhythms in the world, okay? Samba is really, really intense. There's a whole culture when you get down into Brazil. So, we're talking about South America, right? And so you have Africans that were transplanted. It's a similar story, how these rhythms spread across the world. And then they were taken to South America, and Brazil is a huge, huge country in South America. And actually, South America and Brazil house the largest amount of enslaved Africans. So there's a huge culture in Brazil. I mean, You have everything from capoeira, maracatu. We're gonna talk about samba today, but there are a lot of styles in Brazil. Okay, so samba, as I said, very intense. There are samba schools throughout, okay, the continent, and then throughout the country of Brazil, and they compete. They're original sambas. They remix. It's just like us here. Somebody hears something and then they spin on it. So it's really intense. They have big festivals, big competitions, and hopefully you get to see some samba schools one day, some samba bands doing their thing, right? So go down the rabbit hole on YouTube, look up samba. But right now, I'll give you a few basic rhythms. So in Brazil, you will see an agogo bell. It comes from Africa originally, but it's called agogo. Okay, agogo. This is the cowbell. This is different, but I have a cowbell today. But traditionally, you'll see agogo. Agogo is a double-sided bell, so you have two ends. But I'm just going to play the two different notes on cowbell. You can still replicate the rhythm. So samba rhythm. Ding ding da da, ding ding dee da da, ding ding da da, ding ding dee da da. Right? So that's one rhythm. Now you also have you have an instrument called pandero, okay? You see pandero in samba, you see a lot of pandero and it looks like this drum called plena in Puerto Rico, but just some more connections, how these similar instruments are around the world. But a pandero is a form of a frame drum, okay? Traditional pandero, they don't have jingles, but I have some, so sometimes they mix with like a tambourine feel, all right? And you have another pattern. Now, put those two together, kind of. You have a lot of other drums. You have a big drum, okay? We have a big samba drum. I'll play this down here on the cajon, but you have this bass sound. I want pandero, all right? Of course, we have a lot of musicians if we were doing it in Brazil. But here. Samba.
One, two, three.
Well, hello there. My name is Pamela Wise. I'm a jazz pianist and composer here in Detroit. And I want to talk to you about the music from Southwest Africa. That was a big jazz influence. And one thing you got to remember that all of these rhythms that we're talking about are dance related because in our different African cultures, dance and music was all one. It wasn't a separate thing. So everything that you hear is based on dance. Okay, so we played some music for you. And one of the popular rhythms that we played was the samba rhythm. And that was one of my compositions, Samba La Pamela, that I wrote many, many, many years ago. It's a lot of fun recording that song. So the basic rhythms in Angola that were created were Samba, that's spelled Semba, Kazomba, Kizomba, and Kuduro, Kuduro. The most popular beat form is the samba rhythm I just told you about that was developed in the 1950s as a result of the Africa and Portuguese colonialism in Brazil. This Africa rhythm profoundly influenced the samba of Central America, which has been exported all over the world in a variety of styles. The bossa nova beat originated from the samba in Brazil in the late 1950s as well as other social dance rhythms. Jazz musicians have continually used these rhythms to communicate their musical ideas in jazz songs. So you have songs like The Girl from Ipanema, and all of these rhythms were very popular. And then you would have couples social dancing to these rhythms, which is really cool. So we included some dance examples, and which is amazing to me is that the young people will tell you that if you want to be a good dancer, that you have to recognize the different historical contexts of African dancers. Even if you want to be a good hip hop dancers, but we have a lot of good African dancers in Detroit. And if you study African dance, you know you're going to be a great hip hop dancer if you do African dance, because there's really no difference between the two.
One, two, three, four.
Hello, my name is Lewis Jones III. I graduated from DSA, class of 2017. I now attend Wayne State University, and I've known Wendell for almost 11 years. He brought me up, taught me the way. So y'all gonna learn.
My name's Trevor Lamb. I'm in my last semester at Wayne State. Wendell says I have a lot of heart, and I'm currently studying out of his bebop lesson book, and you should hit him up for lessons.
So rumba comes from a different part of the world, and you will find rumba in Cuba. Okay, of course you'll find it all over the world, right? But the origins are really in Cuba. Okay, you will find a huge connection. Again, getting to what you'll see later on when we pull all of this together. You see a huge connection between music of Central Africa, like the Bantu people, the Angola region, okay, the Congo Kingdom. There's a huge connection between Africans and music and culture from that region, and then a lot of them were taken to Cuba, okay? Cuba, I spent some time down there studying. It is an amazing and a rich area. You have people from the Oyo Kingdom in Nigeria, and you also have people from the Congo Kingdom in Angola. A lot of Africans were taken from those two very powerful and very rich musical traditions. And these two traditions come and they meet in Cuba, okay? Under some unfortunate circumstances again, but we're talking about history and how do we persevere and how do we make good things out of adversity. So all of that music gets to Cuba, becomes this hotbed, it mixes, and so you have something that originally is called son, S-O-N. You hear son. All right, so and this is like clave and son, and all these terms, tres golpes, tres dos, segundo. These are all like terms you might hear in Cuban language and Spanish terms, but the Spanish were very influential down in Cuba. So I learned a traditional clave pattern that I'll play, and then I'll take you through some of the rumba rhythms. Rumba is like a family tree. It's a lot of rhythms, okay? But I'll focus on probably the three main ones. So first of all, we have clave. You cannot have rumba without clave. And the definition of clave basically translates to key, okay? So the clave pattern you play unlocks the key to the particular rumba rhythm, if that makes sense, okay? It also translates to keystone. If you ever look at an archway and you walk under, okay, that part in the middle, that very secure part that locks everything together. So clave is a reference to those things. It locks the rhythm together. I was gonna say the rumba rhythm. So clave, one of the original. Yep. Yep. So this is one of the ones for a rumba that's called yambu. Okay? Yambu is for the elders. And so grandma and granddaddy can still dance and get down, but they don't have to sweat. So you start yambu fairly slow. Ja, 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 ja. Two, ja, 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 ja. Right? So there's one clave pattern. You'll also hear a clave, it's called 3-2. Ja, 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 ja. 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. You can hear it right in there, right? So you have all these different, you have a 2-3, okay? You have son clave. So as you can tell, a lot of music is right in these two wooden sticks, the clave. This is actually the heartbeat, and then the music builds around that and comes out of that, okay? So one of the basic parts to rumba, so I'll start with the salidor. Salidor is the bass drum, okay? What we call the tumba here, the tumba. Now remember, we usually call all of these congas, but these have different names, okay? The tumba or salidor. This is tres dos, tres golpes. But this is actually the conga drum, which we call it in the United States. And then the high drum is the quinto. So you have low, tumbao, middle, conga. And the high one is the quinto. All right? A basic part for yambu. Ta, 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 ta. That's how we saw if clave was playing with, right? The salidor player, okay? Now, another part, and this kind of starts to carry that yambu rhythm, and we try to transition from yambu, and then we go into wawanko, okay? Wawanko is a different type of rumba. So yambu, for the elders, wawanko is more of a social dance. That's more of the social rumba. So, hey, let's dance, let's have a good time. Who's the best dancer? But it's not, we're not trying to show people out. We're just having a good time. We're partying. It'll be a good time to party now. What's going on in the world? So hopefully this rumba is uplifting our spirits. So, second part, okay? Now, if I start to add these two together, we start to transition a little bit from yambu into wawanko, okay? And that name is actually even in the drums, in the rhythm. Say wawanko, okay? This is the very popular rumba. You probably hear this most often, wawanko. Okay? Now that wawanko can get really fast, depending on how fast people want to dance. I'm gonna talk about one more drum that we use in rumba. All right. And this is my seat, the box, right? But it's the cajon. So the cajon, similar to the steel drums, all right? We talk about adversity. And so there was a point where, again, percussion was banned. You could not play the drums and transmit these messages. So you have the dock workers, okay, people who take old crates, old dressers, and they start to make drums. So if you're just sitting around kind of tapping, then maybe your slave masters or people who are banning the drums, they don't necessarily think you're playing. So that's how the cajon came to be. So a lot of these rhythms were preserved on these boxes, but then once everything kind of comes back together, now the cajon is actually playing with the drums, okay? those are two basic Roombas, okay? And we'll be dealing with those two. You'll hear them in the music we do today. Thank you.
One, two, three, four. Play that with the rubber, see how that sounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is dance.
All right, let's give this group a huge round of applause. That was amazing. Awesome. Well, while we're all here, if there are any questions, either speak up or leave them in the chat. Let's see. That was awesome. Got a great job. All right. Do you guys want to come in a little closer? I'll move my camera this way. Here we go. So we are here in the home of Wendell Harrison and Pamela Wise. I would personally like to thank you so much for all the amazing music you gave us.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
It's an honor to be here to help with this legacy, percussions, rhythm, and whatnot from all parts of Africa, the continent of Africa. It's great. And we've been utilizing these rhythms for years, consciously and subconsciously. And, we're becoming more knowledgeable of the nuance of these particular rhythms, whatnot, which is very important. Is there any questions?
Also, just so you guys know, Trevor Lamb, our bass player, is here as well.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's here. There he is. Hey, Trevor.
Trevor. Yeah, he's great. He's got a lot of heart. He's very great. Really aggressive on that bass. He got a great feel and whatnot.
So let's see. I'm not seeing any questions, just lots of praises, which is awesome. We love praise.
Thank you. Who's the baby picture?
Up here, it looks like Victoria. Okay. I guess we have a couple questions. Do you have any resources for albums that we should be checking out to learn more about these jazz and African connections?
Yes.
Got the world that you're reading.
Pamela Wise she released actually 4 CDs, and then she has all kinds of rhythms from West Africa and Angola. The new message from the tribe has this tune called Wendell's Abaquata. Wendell's Abaquata.
I have 3 CDs. The latest one is a new message from the tribe, which you'll hear your alumni Lewis M. Jones playing on that. Also, there's a CD called Negre con Leche, and there's one called Samba Festividad. That was a specialty of my study for music and fusion, Afro-Cuban and African rhythms into jazz music. I did a lot of research on that project. And then you have other jazz heroes from the past, like Horace Silver. There's so many.
Horace Silver.
You got the world at your arena. All you got to do is go to YouTube, listen to your jazz heroes. Dizzy Gillespie. There's so many. Mm-hmm. The list goes on and on.
But Dizzy Gillespie was really an advocate of Cuban music. Reflects a lot of Cuban. He's responsible for Paquito de Rivera and
Toro Sandoval.
And Toro Sandoval coming out of Cuba playing bebop and whatnot. And my latest album, I'm using a lot of African rhythms. I'm doing a lot of things in different odd meters, like Get Up Off Your Knees is in 5/4, which I'm using a Portuguese chant by Pate, Jesse. He's from Senegal, and he's doing a chant on that in Portuguese, Creole Portuguese. That's what he calls it, Creole Portuguese. And also, we playing sambas, like Saga the Cat is a samba. It's like a Bugs Bunny tune, and we have another tune called Wandering Thoughts, which is like a bossa nova rhythm, but not Wandering Thoughts. So it's an array of rhythms on this album. And every album has that I produce, I try to deal with an array of different styles of African rhythms. Pamela wrote some tunes in odd meters, like, for instance, Fly By Night is in 11/8, you know, which has 11 beats in a bar. Or you could say it's broken up into 5/6, you know. I wrote a tune on the album, on this latest album, it's called First Love. That's in 7/8 time. So, you know, Max Roach did a lot of research in Africa. The master Art Blakey, he's a great proponent of African rhythms. Art Blakey and the Jazz Messenger used a lot of African. Alvin Jones and John Coltrane, he used a lot of different varieties of Eastern music as well as African. They go over into the Indian culture. So this is our game. Rhythm is our game, and we have a ball in terms of playing these different rhythms.
And speaking of playing these different rhythms, I see a question here from Ashton for Mr. Trevor Lamb. Ashton wants to know what's it like playing bass for Wendell?
It is such a treat playing bass for Wendell. Man, him and Pam are great people. They're like true masters of the music that are just very open to having, you know, they want to keep it going. So they want, you know, someone like me who's young and a little dumb to come and play so that they can make me not young and dumb. But yeah, no, it's great playing with Wendell, man. He's, you know, he'll definitely let you know when you're messing up, but he'll let you laugh at it and not feel bad about it, and then stop it from happening.
Awesome.
That was Ashley.
That was Ashton.
Ashton.
Yeah, and I have to thank you again, Trevor. This was the first time that we've seen, like, you know, live jazz music in about a year and a half. And so just being in the basement, being able to record you guys was such a treat. It was truly food for the soul. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
you. I
you.
couldn't agree more. It's such a treat to be able to go over to Wendell's basement and play music regularly again. Like, that was out of my life for a year, and now it's back.
Yeah, really, really wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. Let's see. All right. I'm switching between Teams and Zoom to make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat over here. Would anyone else like to pop in? I see Jerron has his hand raised. Go for it.
Hey, I don't necessarily have any questions, but I just wanted to say, you know, to Wendell and his group that I really appreciate you guys for, you know, being in this program. It was definitely good to see Wendell again. You know, I love working with him, of course, and really hope to work with him in the future. And yeah, just, you know, overall, amazing job. Love to hear you guys.
Thanks, John.
It's a pleasure being over there, dealing with a lot of jazz improvisation and dealing with a lot of jazz ideas. Very talented students at School for Performing Arts. I've been there for about 3 or 4 years. And excellent students. I met Louis Jones again, the second time. The first time I met him, he was at Duke Ellington. He was about 11 years old, but he was playing saxophone. He was playing alto saxophone, and he was learning about Charlie Parker and playing jazz. And I got a pleasant surprise when I came over to the DSA. He's playing drums, you know. And he said, I've been playing drums all along. And that blew my mind. I said, oh, I'm really out of the game. It really blew my mind. And the Trinito, too, is a trumpet player by the name of Trinito Lowe.
And then Anthony Stanford.
Anthony Stanford. They all came. They all came from the Duke Ellington School.
And that just goes to show you it's important. Like, we used to just go to different elementary schools and middle schools and just play, because we found out that a lot of kids weren't being exposed to jazz. It's not that they didn't like it. They just weren't exposed to it. Not even exposed to live music. So I think, you know, we want to get more support for jazz. As people want to say they want to do these different organizations, you have to go in the trenches and you have to, you know, strap on your armor and go to these schools and play for the kids, even if it's, you know, all kids might not necessarily be a musician, but they might want to learn how to build an instrument or invent something or be a writer, or, you know, music influences visual arts, creative writing, film, everything. So.
Awesome. Well, I know we've gone a little over our time, but we started a couple minutes late, so I think it's all right. Again, I want to thank all of you so much, my DSA people. I love and I miss you so much, and I can't wait to see you again in person one day. I want to thank Detroit School of Arts, New York Public Humanities, the Knight Foundation, Lewis, Trevor, Pam, Wendell, Chinelo. Yeah, we had some awesome review for those of you who were here for last week's episode. Chinelo was in last week's episode as well, so he carried over this week. And Jerry Boo, just amazing musicians.
And y'all get that vaccine when you can, and stay safe and quit trying to hang out and stuff, so we can open up again.
Mom was talking.
Yes. And next week we have an amazing Detroit Grooves for you. We're going to be working with Jessica Caramore for the next 2 episodes.
My Crispy Arts Fellows sister.
Yeah. So I'm super excited. We're going to be exploring the connections between poetry, slam poetry, and music. So super exciting stuff. Thank you all so much for being here. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Wakanda forever.